All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's look at lesson 13. We can turn to Deuteronomy 1. And someone read for us verses 1 through 5 just to start. Deuteronomy 1, 1 through 5.
1 through 5?
Yes, sir.
These are the words which Moses spoke to all Israel across the Jordan and the wilderness, in the Arabah, opposite Shah, between Paran and Tafel, and Lebanon and Hazarah, and Dizipah. It is 11 days' journey from Haran by the way of the mountains Seir to Kadesh Barnea. In the 40th year, on the first day of the 11th month, Moses spoke to the children of Israel according to all that the Lord had commanded him to give them. After he had defeated Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who lived in the Ekron, and Og, the king of Bashan, who lived in the Ashtaroth in Edrei, across the Jordan in the land of Moab, Moses undertook to expound this law.
All right, thank you. Okay, last week we looked at questions 1. We really don't have to get back into that too deep, just from the geography and the location and all those sort of things, so we can kind of skip that. That was just in what Ricardo read anyway. We ended kind of on the vibe for question 2. What was the subject matter or the vibe of Moses' speech? If you remember from the transition from last week into this week's passage. Basically, like, what was the vibe? Remember the new census, remember they counted new people, all that plays into this vibe. Anybody remember what the vibe would be for this?
It was basically kind of tell them, that this is our second chance and how God is still with us, and to remember what happened to our ancestors.
Yes, exactly, right? The main thing is, it was just to encourage them, the new people, of the transition of what God has done for them and where they're going next, right? That's the main thing. So history repeats itself most of the time because people don't study history. So this is, hey, this is what God has done for us. Let's move on towards our goal, unlike the first time when we went. Because remember, they already had lapped around to the wilderness, to the promised land, but had to go to the wilderness because they didn't believe that they can actually succeed. So basically Moses is encouraging them. The vibe would be motivational speech, right? To motivate them to be all that they could be as a people. And it's important because their ancestors, the generation that was right before them, didn't believe fully in God's blessings, divine will, ability, what have you, could go on, and therefore they had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. And then some of those people died. Some tribes grew, some tribes shrunk. So now there's a new wave of adults. These 20 and below 40 years ago are now adults. And now it's up to them to move on to the mantle, to take the mantle. The other thing that's important for this speech is, obviously we know that from the header of this lesson that Moses will die very shortly. So this concept of encouraging them is for them to move on and basically have to be who they have to be when Moses is already gone. The interesting thing about God is, as much as people complain about kind of when there are natural disasters or a little kid gets cancer or something, people want God to intervene. But Saturday night, do you want God to intervene in what you're doing? No, right? If God said, oh, I'll intervene and stop all kids from having cancer, if you let me intervene on what you do Friday and Saturday night, what would you say? If that was on you, if God said, I will not let one kid in this whole world have cancer, if you let me intervene whenever you do something wrong, when you want to have fun yourself, how many people would say, okay? See, free will got to work all ways. That's why when you have friends and family that ask you, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do good things happen to bad people? Oh, what you talking about? Oh, I don't know. White people get to steal and go a long time before they get caught. There's this show, American Greed. These people have a lot of money. How come first time they steal, they don't get caught? We don't want to look at both sides, right? So this thing is letting us know that when you go forward and you're looking for blessings, you got to make sure you understand curses and why they come. This is what Moses is trying to get them to see. And sometimes those things are generational. Sometimes as grandparents or as parents, you screwed your life up. You did. Some sins you do, there's no fixing the ramification in this life. Don't mean God won't forgive you. But if you kill somebody and you got 50 years in prison, you got 50 years. Once it's time for appeal, do the court know what Christianity is? Oh, I'm a Christian now. Court will be like, well, what that mean? You got sentenced 50 years. You got to do your time. So that's the same thing. Sometimes as families, we make bad decisions that changes the course of our entire last name. Sometimes there's no fixing that in the physical. You just have to go through with love and patience. But the next generation has opportunity. The problem is, most of the time, family structure is cyclical, right? So if your parents were bad with finances, most of the time, you're bad with finances. If your parents were verbally abusive, most of the time, you're verbally abusive. Most of the time, as young people, if you were sexually abused, most of the time, you become an abuser. Now, at surface level, people say, that sounds crazy. You go out into the world and see and come back and see if that's true. More than half of the time. Look how sad that is, that you would be able to grow up in a situation that is not best for you, but replicate it for the next generation. You know why? Because normal is relative. If you grow up in a house where everyone yells and screams, how do you know people shouldn't yell and scream like that? Right? The people you love the most treat you that way. It's not until you go out into the world and see other families don't operate it, but sometimes it's too late because how you are is already embedded inside of you. That's what Moses is trying to stop here. This is what I wish we would do better in church, right? If you have a child, why not tell your child, hey, don't end up like me? I'll never understand a parent who want a carbon copy of themselves. Why? Parents, you never made the cheerleading team, so now you trying to make your kid get on you. What are you doing? Like, your life is over. You already 50, 60 or whatever. Oh, you are. Why are you trying to live through your kid on the football field because you never got picked for football? That's ridiculous. Be an adult. Like, stop this nonsense. Oh, you felt like no one asked you to prom, so you put your daughter in makeup and all this stuff to try. What are you doing? Grow up as an adult. Let's get back to being an adult. Too many adults want to be kids. Everything I be looking at, scrolls, I think to myself, don't this person got kids? I don't have no kids. You see me up any time of day or night, or I'm out in the street, Ellis don't have kids. But I look up and I see, don't this person got some kids? Where the kids at? Oh, girls trip, guys trip, girls night out, guys night out. Just scrolling. I don't see no picture of no family structure. Be an adult. 30 is not 20. 40 is not 30. 50 is not 40. Life is about stages. Once you pass a stage, it's gone. Once you get to 20, teenage years are finished. Once you get to 40, it's over. It is over. In this life, you are older more than you're young. Most of the world consider young between 16 to 29. Wait, please put your hand down and please be quiet. 16 to 29 is what the world considers young, and not even 29. Be an adult with responsibilities. Once you transition into another stage of life, you cannot grab that young. You can't. I don't care anything about mindset or body, because in this world, people travel this way. It's not Benjamin Button where you could say, oh, because I feel a certain way, I'm going to go back and travel back that way. No, it doesn't work that way. The problem is people always want to go to the bad because the future is scary because I don't know what the future holds. You need to be thinking about the future. If more people in their 20s thought about credit, their 30s would be better. But most people in their 20s, you think about credit? No, you're thinking about trips. And you go in your pocket and you don't have money for a trip. So what do you do instead? Swipe. Because all your friends posting. So you say, I want to go. And Groupon got a lot of specials. So I want to go to Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Maldives. I want to go to all these places, but I don't have any money. So I put myself in a situation where I can do those things, but at what cost? Everyone else got nice clothes. I want to have nice clothes, but you don't have any money. Just swipe. And when you swipe your life away in your 20s, by the time it gets to a certain age and you start looking for a car, you start looking for a home, what happens when they run your credit? Oh, child, you can't get no loan. Why? Credit. What's credit? Nobody told you about credit? No, I just figured people was giving out credit cards. I just swiped away. Plan for the future. Most people don't want to plan for the future. Most people want to live in the moment. Most people cannot fathom taking a portion of their check, putting it aside for a future, because they're going to say, I want shoes, a purse, or some sneakers today. You telling me about hoping for a house in 5 years. This is why I said most things are cyclical, especially financial. Poverty is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with your income. If you choose to be poverty in your thought process, that's your fault. Don't blame society and don't blame your income. What does that mean? You could have no money but not be poor in your mind. But once you become poor in your mind, you do poverty tendencies like, oh, I'm always going to be poor. Once you feel like you always going to be something, I'm always going to be abusive. I'm always going to be negative. I'm always going to be a rude person. Once you feel that way, you have checked out of life. You going backwards. You basically just trying to loop in a circle instead of trying to move forward. Biggest age group that need to hear that, teenagers to 20. Everything from teenagers to 20 is a concept of fun, especially socially, because I want to post something. It's not good enough for me to live the experience. People have to see I had fun last night. So I have to show it. Even if I didn't have that much fun, I still got to show that I had that much fun. And that mindset has bled into adulthood, because I see a lot of adult timelines and I know the life they live, and it's not the pictures I see. But they want to put on a facade that I'm having fun. Everything in this society is fun. I want to have fun. I don't hear people talking about responsibilities. Responsibilities used to be the thing. Now responsibilities aren't cool. Moses is teaching them about it's time to have responsibilities. If you don't plan for tomorrow today, you're already doomed. And in this society that we live in, open your eyes, they're going to corral all the people who have and all the people who don't have. And they're going to say, you know what? Discriminating on gender and race and all, that's silly. Because people just going to keep protesting and make it bad for us. Let's just say haves or have not. You know why it's easy to get people to discriminate? Because they're going to say, Ruby, do you have money for this? When you say no, right? Say, I'm not discriminating against you because you said you don't have any money, right? You're going to say, yeah, I don't have money. Good. Everyone who had money for this, you come over here. See how easy that is? But if I start discriminating against her for gender, Tiana going to say, that's not right. Why? Because I'm a woman. But if Tiana say, hey, no fair, I'm going to say, Tiana, do you have money for this? She say, no. Crystal going to be like, seem fair to me because y'all don't have no money for that thing he's saying. It's going to be very easy to do that. So in your mindset, where do you see yourself? If you're a parent, where do you see your children? Your mindset, where do you see your children for planning? Or are you just saying, oh, I just kind of live in the moment. I don't have no regard for tomorrow or the next day. Moses isn't trying to parent that way. He's not trying to lead that way. He's trying to show them that, look, in your life, you have to plan for the next day, not living in the moment. Your generation before you lived in the moment, and where did that get them? Dead in the grave, because they didn't prepare. But we're trying to prepare because now you have to go on to the next phase of your life, of your existence. That's what you need to be asking yourself, especially if you are a parent in this room. What are your goals for your own children? Your children, especially if you're a mother. You cannot expect society to care more about your kids than you do. This world couldn't care less about someone else's child. Why would I care about someone else's child in the world? See? Oh, because that's not right. What is right to someone who's not a Christian? That's not fair. What is fair? Stop looking at your TV confused. These people are acting how they act. Why is someone confused at people protesting and punching in the street? Violence begets violence. Where you know love from? God. I don't be confused when I turn my TV on and see those things. I don't be confused when I hear people say certain things or be offensive. Why? This is the world I live in. What did I think? That this world changed because I go to church, that the world go to church too? Wrong. That's why my friends all the time, they start telling me about TV and the new hope. You need to go to church. Why? Because the words you're using, fair, right, peace, love, those are church words. Those aren't political words. See, people want God on their own terms. Hey, I want the world to be a better place. How will it be that way? By a human being is going to make the world a better place? Wrong. Wrong. Very easy analogy is, let's say we all live in a very nice neighborhood with great teachers. Somebody come in here and say, hey, my kid needs better teaching. So you guys have 10 teachers that are really great. Can we borrow one of your teachers? Every one of them in here are going to think, what? Well, if we give 10, we have 9. Then what if my kid needs some extra help? What if another person walks in the room and said, I need a teacher? Before you know it, we're going to say, none of the good teachers will be left for our kids. You see how easy? That's why people discriminate. They're going to say, Trumbull, Stratford, all these other towns going to say what? Don't give more funding to Bridgeport because what about our children? And what does Hartford say? Okay, those people have the loudest voice. Even though Bridgeport have the most kids, we're going to allocate the more educational dollars to the suburbs than the cities. You know why? Because less people live there. If we gave wealth to the most of the people, then the balance of power would flip. And you looking at the TV confused, voting for people and say, oh man, I didn't think they would act like that. Why? Why you didn't think somebody would act like that when they get more power? This is the world we live in. You could go back and look at history upon history, society upon society, civilization upon civilization, and see the same exact behavior. But let you tell somebody, hey, look at God trying to free you, and people will tell you that's not true. But yet will look at the TV and try to convince me of foolishness, complete foolishness. People trying to persuade me, and I'll be like, man, you should really give this a try. Because this right here said everything that you trying to convince me would happen. Why don't you try applying this to your own life and stop worrying about what someone else is doing? Nah, people can't live that way. See, people can't live that way. Why you don't worry about your own street, your own city? No, I want to argue online about Washington, D.C. Look, Washington, D.C. not on my street. My street is. What about my own street? What about PTSO in my own district? No, how many times have we been? Right? How many times, for all the bravado that people have nowadays, how many times have you touched your local community and tried to change it? Your local that have direct ramifications for where you're at, because people are all smoke and mirrors. It's like thunder in the sky, loud and harmless. Thunder only scared kids and animals. What is thunder? That's how people are online complaining. That complaining don't move nobody. Polls do not move anybody. Oh, this percentage said this. So what? Why care if somebody like me if I'm powerful or rich? I don't care if you like me. I'm in control. See? Open your mind. Spend less time with foolishness and more time that will affect you. This that Moses is saying to them is, hey, this will make you a better person. This will improve your life. You got to worry about you, because once we go into this next realm, unlike your other generation, if you start worrying about what everybody else is doing, you're going to start doing what they're doing. So you have to worry about what's right and not what's popular. That's the realm of society that you live in right now. But do we tell ourselves that as adults? Do we tell our kids that? Or are we more concerned with things? I hear a lot of people concerned with things. Let's hear conversations concerned with heart matters, right and wrong. Are you doing the right thing? I used to always say that when I come back from anything from college, people ask me for school. You need to ask, did I go to church? Why do you care how things are from school? Are you my parent? If I tell you school is bad, what you gonna do about it? In church, any of y'all? Nothing. You just gonna be like, oh, I guess Ellis and Donna did a bad job. Hey, did you go to church last semester? You should ask me that. Oh, no, I didn't. Why not? I was sleeping. Now you have a conversation. But if I tell you, no, I failed calculus, can anyone in here help somebody? Or go to Google. You should study more. That's not helping me. What about mindset for church? Oh, we don't want to talk about that. You haven't seen people in a while. How many of y'all ask, hey, where you been? No, you say, oh, no, I don't want to say nothing because offending. Offended? They don't come anyway. What you offended them? They don't care what you think. Let me tell you something. People who don't come to church could not care less what y'all in this room think of them because they don't come here. Why do I care what you think about Ellis when I don't see you? The last thing I'm thinking about when I'm out gallivanting in this world is Kuman or Crystal or David. If y'all walked up to me while I'm in the midst of my sin, I probably would not even recognize you. You ever run into somebody like that from church? And they looking at you like, where I know you from? And you're like, wow, it's to that? Because I'm somewhere else. My mind is somewhere else. That's why I keep saying you have to protect your greatest asset, which is you, your mind. Put your mind somewhere else. Stop allowing the world to take your mind, lock it away, and be in prison because of what everybody else is doing. It could be even your family. That's what he's telling you. Don't worry about what your parents, your aunts, your uncles, or grandparents did. Too often, that's the other thing. You try to tell somebody about God, oh, my parents did that. My grandmother did. I tell you all the time, your parents and your grandmother, if you would have known your parents or grandmother at a younger age, maybe you say, Grandma, what you doing? No. But you know a portion of your parent. You know a portion of your grandparent, and you have them in a high esteem. But somebody may say, hey, man, 30 years ago, your grandmother cut me at a bar fight. What would you say? Nah, not my grandmother. She's too sweet. Stop worrying about what your grandparents doing. Again, your parents and your grandparents lived their life, and they made a slew of bad decisions. So because they did it and they have your same last name, you're going to make the same bad decision? Put yourself above. Look past and say, you know what? I'm not going to replicate that part of my family. That was a bad thing. That was a negative thing. It impacted me in a bad way. Even though it's normal to me, even though it's familiar to me, I'm going to be different. I'm going to put myself in a different situation. Soon as you start transitioning out of that, you will see how much your family love you. Because most families, you know what they're going to say? Instead of being happy for you, now they think they're better than you. Most families that say that when you stop getting invites to picnics, to cookouts, you're thinking, man, how come my family's stuck on me like that? You think you better than them. You want to go out, get educated, get a nice job, get a family, go to church. You don't want to be like us. That's how you know if people are really for you. Start improving your life and tell me if your phone start congratulating you or hating on you. That's how you know who's really real. Not because they have the same last name as you. A lot of people got my last name. A lot of people have my DNA. I don't talk to them. What am I going to talk to them for? I treat holidays just like this. If I go in my text and I don't see no communication between me and a person in the last, let's say, 7 to 30 days, well, I'm going to tell you Merry Christmas. We don't. You first of all, if you say Merry Christmas and I'm not having a Merry Christmas, you wouldn't even know about it. I talk to y'all more than I talk to some family members. So what is that? Because they say, oh, what you doing? Somebody said, oh, where you at? I was like, a church thing? Like, I'm feeling so way. Why got to be a church thing? Oh, because everything you saying was a church picnic or a church this or a church housewarming church. I'm like, all right, sound kind of salty. I mean, maybe you should get a church thing. Like, why it got to be a church thing? Because why? I'm not hanging out with you. That's how people are. Not, hey, how was that event? Did you have fun? Oh, tell me about the people. No, they don't care nothing about that. They saying, why are you spending more of your time with those people instead of with me? That let me know that they're not really for me. Don't matter if they have my last name. They could be your own mother and father. Didn't Jesus say that? Jesus said households will be divided because of me. Daughter going to say, I don't believe. Son going to say, I believe. Father going to say, I don't believe. Mother may say, I'm going to believe. What will you do? That's the whole point. Come back to the beginning about the free will. Everything comes down to you. You cannot base your Christianity or your morality on those around you, not even your own house. If your house fell away, would you fall away? Or would you scrape and find some way to get back to God? Or would you just throw up your hands and be like, man, nobody want to worship? That's what Moses is telling them. And once we get into Joshua, when Joshua said, as for me and my house, I can't say what each tent's going to do. He just said, this is what I'm going to do. And that's how you see, are people really for God or not? But start, because it's hard to get to that point in faith. Start with, are people really for you? Because if people in your life are not for you, they for sure not for God. Stop assuming that people are for you, because they're not. I learned that a long time ago, and my personality is different. That's why when most people start talking about family and stuff, I don't really interject, because I be thinking, if people not for you, you know, when you know people, a family not for you, go to school. Go to school and get some education. Your Rolodex and your contact, oh, people hate that, because school takes time and studying. But nobody wants you to better yourself. Your friends and family do not, because the first thing that they get, then you go start coming to Thanksgiving with a better car than me. People think that way because of what? Jealousy. 10 commandments, right? Man, I want that chair. But you got your own chair. That chair is way better than my chair. So I'm going to covet and be jealous of that. That's how people are every single day. Because people don't really want the best for you. You got God Almighty wanting the best for you and gave his son to die on the cross for you, and we won't even give him a fraction of our time. But people who will lie, cheat, steal, break our heart, we give them every ounce of our energy every single day. People that couldn't want any worse for you than what they do, and you still give them an ear every single day. Oh, because that's my last name. Remember, they came to Jesus and said, hey, your mom and your brothers and sisters outside. What did Jesus say? No, they're not. Yeah, they are Mary and James and all the rest of them outside. They said they come get you. No. My mothers and brothers and sisters are inside. They was like, what you talking about? Ain't that Mary outside? You telling me about Mary when we talking about spiritual things. Can we have that same resolve? No, because a lot of times we care more about the physical than the spiritual. That's why I'm saying, do your own test. When you come from Bible study, don't just dismiss something because you don't believe it. Try it in your own life. Start telling people in your phone, start with your last name, some positive changes you about to make. You haven't even started them changes yet. Just start telling people and see what the response is. Most of the time, people didn't even hear you. They're just waiting for you to stop talking. Then they're going to talk. Then they tell you about your day. You say, no, wait a minute. You heard what I just said? No, what did you say? Oh, I'm going to try to lose weight. And okay, good for you. That's all you got to say? Yeah, but look, girl, I got to call you back because, see? But let those people need something. Phone will ring, Skype will ring, Facebook will ring, Snapchat will ring, text message. You thinking, man, why don't you stop trying to hit me up? When you finally respond, they say, hey, man, my life falling apart. That's how you know if somebody is really for you. Why are you giving your time to people who are not even for you? See, Moses telling them we can't spend time crying over spilt milk because those people weren't for God. They weren't for us. We have to move forward. You know how difficult a speech to hear that speech that would be? If I came in here and was like, yo, forget about your aunt, your uncle, your mother, father, brother. Those people are dead to us. We got to go to the promised land. You'll be like, what? What you talking about? Those people are holding us back. They're dead weight. Let's go. How many people would be like, nah? How many people would be Lot's wife? How many people would be when Jesus was talking about the cost of discipleship? Oh, I got to go back and do this. When you read these things, sometimes we just breeze through like people are not involved in these verses. It's hard to hear what Moses is saying. Remember when Aaron's kids died and God said what? Don't mourn them. Anybody here would have been like, okay, that's no big deal. No, it was hard to hear that. But what was God's point? If the people see you crying for that, they're going to want to do it. Don't just read these scriptures and be like, okay. Okay. Yeah, these people had it easy because God was talking to them. My life way harder. No. You have grace. Your life way easier. These people were dropping dead. Put your mind into its proper perspective, please. This is one of the biggest things for church growth and Christian growth is where do you see your own self? Don't worry about who's sitting next to you or the pew behind you. Where do you see you? It's about to be September. This year is a wrap. Think back to December when you had all these goals. 9 months about to go by. Anybody do anything they accomplish? If not, you still have time, but you have to change your mind today. Don't say tomorrow, oh, tomorrow I'll do better. Tomorrow gonna come and go. All we have is, can I change my perspective today? That's what I'm saying about family structure. You may have made your bad decision. Can you change your family structures today? Can you sit down as a family today and say, no more. We no longer gonna live like this. Whoever don't agree with that, this is the United States of America. You could walk out this door and you could go find lodging, even Airbnb. But from now on, we're going to do better. You go home and say that and see if loved ones be like, you know what? Yeah, I needed that motivation. Or they'll be like, what? No, we not. Yeah, we are. No, we not either. We're not going to eat out no more because next year we going to Europe. You'll be like, no, we ain't. Because I'm going to McDonald's after this. No, we need that $5. So I may not live to Europe. You want me to not eat out today? See, discipline. That's how you'll start seeing it. People are on the same page as you or not. Moses trying to see, are these people on the same page as God? Because he's about to go. Right? Moses already lived his life. He's trying to see of all the discipline, all the miracles, all the things that they experienced, did anybody retain any of that? That's what Moses is seeing. The sad thing is in church, we don't have any spiritual tests or checkpoints like that. Very rarely. Very rarely do we have a checkpoint where anybody is saying, did you retain anything of the 10 years you were studying or this or that? Very rarely we have that. That's why I'm saying you have to motivate yourself to start doing those things from within. To be like, am I really changing? Did I become any better in 2017 than 2016 in any level, physically, spiritually, financially, or emotionally? Or am I the exact same way? Because if you're staying the same, you're going backwards. Second, you start asking people about themselves, they're going to start telling you about circumstances. I'm talking about you. You could be homeless right now. Don't mean 2018 you be homeless. Right? You could be poor right now. Don't mean you be poor in 2018. You could be in a bad marriage right now. Don't mean by 2018 come around you have a bad marriage. But if you already decide my marriage already bad, then guess what? You are going to be in a bad marriage by 2018. Because you decided that in your mind. That's how powerful your mind is. Your mind is so powerful when you sleep, it make you think that you really running, swimming, drowning, falling, but you in your bed. And you wake up, what's wrong? And all day, sometimes you remember the dream. You at your desk at work. That's how powerful your mind is. That's what I'm telling you. If your mind say, hey, I'm going to be great, you'll be great. But if your mind say, no, we ain't going to be nothing. Nobody that look like us or come where we come from or amount to anything. What they told about Jesus' people. Oh, we got this guy. He's doing good things. Oh, where he from? What? Ain't nobody good come from over there. Get out of here. We ain't listening to that. See? What did Jesus say? Oh, man, I thought I was Son of God. I thought I was changing the word of God. Jesus did not care what anybody thought of him. Remember the time where Jesus was talking about, hey, do what these Pharisees say, not what they do. They're like whitewashed tombs. And the apostles, who were the disciples, can't hate it. You know, you offended those people. Jesus would. What that mean? No, they're upset. What I should do? Maybe apologize to them. Jesus, truly, you who have an ear, let him hear. Imagine the disciples like, oh, we should have never told this guy something. How many times that happened where they say, hey, you confusing those people? What Jesus said? Well, it's not for them. Why you had to say that? To the point where people listen, what the Bible said. Some people walked away and was like, nah, this guy crazy. What about the times where they picked up stones to throw in? Jesus did a little magic trick, disappeared. People looking like, oh, Jesus was not going to change who he was because people didn't like it. We do that. We'll leave something energized. We'll watch something on YouTube, anything. You all know this is true. Oh, I watched this thing. Oh, it say you should drink water, nothing else. I looked at it. I was like, wow, this is what I'm doing to my body, this, that, and the third. If I tell somebody, hey, I'm going to drink more water, they're going to be sipping the Coke saying, wow. You could be very enthusiastic about anything in this world. Let you tell someone, other human being. They will bring your joy down, down, down. They'll say, no, sweetheart, we don't live like that. We live like this way. Don't try to be something you're not. That's what friends and family tell you. Moses is saying, don't be that way. Be who God wants you to be. Be who you could be. Maybe not who you are. Today, be who you could be, not who you already are. People say, oh, you should be yourself. No, you shouldn't. I never understood that since a kid. Ellis, be yourself. Why? If you knew me, you wouldn't tell me that. People say, oh, dating, you should be yourself. No, you shouldn't. You should try to be somebody else. Who you are, your family already accepts you, but maybe I won't accept you that way. I'm not your family yet. Oh, be yourself. No, sweetheart. Don't be out here in this world talking about, oh, accept me for who I am, all my flaws. Those are mothers and fathers do that. The world don't have to do that. Why your friends have to accept your flaws? Your friends gonna be like, look, I'm tired of dealing with this. Lose my phone number. You out here going, my mom told me to be myself. Those are mother and father words, not the world, because people are going to say, why do you act that way? And it's going to go all the way back to your upbringing. People around me allow me to act this way. And the person will say, oh, because people I grew up around, we acted way different. So now it's a clash, like a hurricane, cold air and hot air. Can't match, right? Because you're saying, however you was raised and however I was raised, do not coexist. You know who speak that way? God. Your ways aren't my ways. Your thoughts aren't my thoughts. Y'all too busy worrying about what other people are doing. And Jesus was walking across the water. He was not concerned with what they were doing. The storm was happening. Jesus was asleep. Remember? Hey, wake up. We dying. Jesus said, what? Man, y'all got no kind of faith. Why don't y'all go to sleep? How are we going to die in the boat with me in here? Nobody thought of it that way because people got caught up in the moment. So in the Last Supper, when Jesus is saying, hey, y'all should be of good cheer because I already overcame this world and I'm not even nailed to the cross yet. How do we miss that? Because we're too busy thinking about our circumstance. Put your mind to Jesus. If Moses would have these people in New Testament under grace, that's what he would be saying. Put your mind to Jesus. You mean to tell me your finances are a bigger burden than Jesus being nailed to the cross, bleeding to death? No. So Jesus saying, we could fix finances. That's easy. I mean, if God only told me to go down here to fix finances, man, I would have been like, this is a cakewalk. He told me to fix sin. That's real tough. We'd be more concerned with physical things and not spiritual things. And the creator of all things that we see and can't see told us, be of good cheer. I already overcame this place. Be in this world, but not of it. Stop looking for confirmation externally for internal truths. Jesus said, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. You hear that every Sunday and you go into the world and people say, no, that's not true. That's not true. And then you say, oh man, I was so excited. Church had me excited. Now I'm out here. Stop letting external things impact internal truth, because Holy Spirit lives inside of you if you're baptized. That's a truth. This world is nothing. That's a truth. We are just decaying away. That's a truth. But does the world teach and preach that? Well, who are you going to believe? That's what Moses is asking the Israelites. Who are you going to believe? Joshua and Caleb, or your dead ancestors who didn't believe? That's for us. Who are we going to believe? God or friends and family? That's the danger that we live in today, because everyone is so interconnected through the internet. Is you have people believing flesh and blood over the eternal God Almighty. People can lie straight to your face. People can study things in this world that have been revised 1,000 times. And God forbid I mention one Bible verse and the room would explode. Oh, what did I say? Oh, that's fairy tale stuff. Fairy tale. Maybe democracy is a fairy tale. What? How could that be? Right? Maybe your job is a fairy tale. A lot of things you do every day could be fairy tale, but because I believe this is a fairy tale. See, that's how people are. That's why I learned a long time ago. I got to worry about Ellis. That's why when I go on the plane, I say, oh, they telling the truth. If this plane start going down and the mask fall, I got to put my mask on. Because if I fool around trying to put your mask on and you keep fighting me, you don't want your mask, we both die. Look, let me put my mask on, get a couple breaths in. Once I get my composure, I'll look to the people to the left or right, and they going on, I'll try to put your mask on. But somebody got to tell CNN what happened. I elect it should be me. I say, look, the things fell. I listened to the lady. I put my mask on. Someone got to tell a story. If not, CNN, they're going to say, oh, I don't know what happened to that plane. That's how I live my life. I got to put my mask on. I can't be worrying about somebody else over my own spiritual soul because we both fall away. I got to tell the story. When someone say, hey, Ellis, what happened to so-and-so? I say, I put my mask on. Hey, what happened to this person, your last name? I put my mask on. Where's their mask? I'm still hanging from the front. I don't know. They didn't want to put their mask on. That's what Joshua going to tell them. That's what Moses telling them. I'm putting my mask on. What y'all going to do? People will say, I'm not putting my mask on. I'm going to just win it. Okay, try. That's where we have to get our mind to, no matter who we are around, especially friends and family. Don't let friends and family make fun of your spiritual truth. Friends and family don't have a mask suffocating, making fun of how goofy you look in a mask. That's how people do in family structures with church stuff. You got your life together, and they nitpicking at your stuff. Ronnie and Kuman had a housewarming yesterday. Guaranteed their family and friends, just like mine. I promise you there was people in the midst who don't have no home, thinking to themselves or saying something to another person, oh, this thing was whack. Why they pick this color? Why they live way up here? I guarantee it. But then if Ronnie come on say, hey, who address we at right now? Oh, we at your address. How you got here? You invited us. What? How much sense does that make? But I guarantee you it's true. Because people are the same every single day, generation, race, creed, gender. People are the same. They cannot help themselves. So that would be like the two of them more concerned with people hating on their life than coming to worship today. Hey, where y'all was at? Oh, our friends yesterday was hating, so we was trying to get the friendship back. What? Yeah, we love them so much, and they were just broke our heart, and they said we shouldn't have moved here. Now we got to sell our place, and we can't go to church because we got to go to Zillow.com and look for what. That we would be like, what? What are you talking about? But that's how some people live their life. Some people will let their friends and family change everything about them. You will say, hey, whatever happened to this thing or that thing or this car, this trip, this job? Oh, my mom said no. She said it was this. Oh, my friend, she said that. You listen to them? Yeah, because they said that. See? That's what happened to us every single day. It happens around us, but when we open up our eyes to see it, or we just live a certain way. That's what I pray for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us, that we could be stronger to say, I'm going to see right and wrong and choose right. I'm going to realize that some people in this world don't have my best interest in mind, but Jesus always does, as cliche as that sounds. So if I'm going to break any heart, if it came down to breaking Jesus' heart or my hating friend's heart, guess whose heart I'm going to break? The friends, because they're not really my friends. But we say, Jesus, your heart's strong. So I'll break your heart for 2016. I got you 2017. Let me just get myself together. Jesus say, oh, I don't do a relationship like that, sweetheart. I'm really an all or nothing kind of relationship. What that mean? You either with me or you are against me. People say, man, that's harsh. Why you don't just give me a little bit of time? Time is what? Fleeting. What we say time is built with swift transition. That's why I said transition. Life is broken into decades. Transition time. Where will you see yourself in terms of you, in terms of your family, in terms of your Christianity, in terms of the church you go to? Where do you see yourself moving and progressing for however long as God will have you live? Because we don't know what tomorrow may bring. That's where you should put your mindset. But please don't ever let fleshly things interrupt a spiritual focus. Don't let friends and family deter you from your blessing. Remember, these people could have already been in the promised land 40 years ago. 40 years ago, they could have already been fat off milk and honey. But they let their friends and their family say, we can't do it. Sometimes we come from church or Bible study with the right spiritual focus. and we let our friends and our family, either on our phone or in our home, bring so much negativity that we say, I can't do it. But you left service thinking, man, I can do it. I'm going to be way better. Then you got home, or you got on the phone, or you went to work, or you just went into the world, and all that negativity overpowers your spiritual focus. We got to get above that. We got to be more like Jesus. Walk past people on the water. Walk past them. Let people say, is that a ghost? You looking like, where a ghost at? Who is that? Remember they looked and somebody was like, that look like Jesus. What in the world? That's how you got to be sometimes. You got to walk right past people. People say, is that Crystal? Let me see. Crystal. You got to, sometimes Crystal got to be, somebody said, I thought I seen Crystal. Crystal, you didn't see me. Oh, I thought I see you. I see somebody was moving along in life progressing. That looked like Crystal. Is that Tiana? Tiana sometimes got to be like, that's not me. Because if I stop and say, hey, that's me, you'll be, no, I'm going somewhere. I have somewhere to be. And it's success. You coming? Nah, I'm not coming, but let me know how it is. You should be like, I will. You will see, I'm going to post some pictures online. That's how you have to position yourself spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially. You have to think that way. Let's get back to that because God only wants the best for you. And Moses is passing away. He legit only wants the best for them because he's out of here. But Moses, it's not going to make Moses no never mind whether they do what he's about to tell them or not because he's already old. This is free game for them. And Joshua and Caleb and the rest of the leaders will have to lead them. That's how it is for us today. Jesus is already raised from the cross. He just wants you to be a better person. Jesus don't got to get back on the cross. God's desire is that all people be saved, but it don't change where he's going to be at for eternity. Right? He just wish you could come. That's all. Jesus has been preparing a place for you. Didn't the Bible tell you that? For a long time. Long time preparing a place. Again, back to the yesterday analogy, right? It's take time and planning. You go to events. You go to somebody's house. There's food there. Did you cook that food? Did you pay for that food? No, somebody prepared that. And you come in there looking like what? Let me see. Look at these whack hot dogs. Y'all don't got no turkey hot dogs? Let me see. What is this? Y'all don't got no wheat buns? Man, it's hot. Why y'all don't got a fan in the garage? Then you'll be like, what? What time out? Time out. You ain't got to go home, but what you got to do? You got to get them out of here. Because why? This is our house homecoming. Turkey bacon. Man, let me see. Ooh. Y'all don't got no turkey bacon. Y'all don't got no vegan food. You don't got no gluten-free. When people say you don't got no, you gotta usher them out because they're not contributing to your happiness. They're trying to bring you down. That's like God Almighty. That's why he said, your ways are not my ways, your thoughts are not my thoughts. And this is why some of us will never be eternally together because I'm preparing a place where I am. I'm not coming down to where y'all are anymore. And where I am, we don't live like, we don't complain about gluten-free and turkey bacon and why you don't have white cheese, you only have yellow cheese. Up here, people that I create happy, the blessings I give them. So if you're not one of those people, you can't come live with me. That's all God is saying to humanity. And people say, oh, no fair. That's real fair. Because don't we act that way in this world? Yes. So are we going to be in this world the type of people that will be able to be in God's midst for eternity? Or will we be miserable? That's what we have to decide. Again, your last name and your surroundings may have already made up your decision to be miserable. But do you have to succumb to your environment? No. Be a better person and be happier in your own life, even if no one around you supports that. That's what Moses is telling you. Is it hard to hear that? Yes. Is it hard to do that? Yes. Is it a rewarding thing to experience that? Yep. Because God has blessings for those that will put him first. But when you don't put him first, God bless you like he blessed everybody else. Jesus said that. Sun out, rain out. Everybody gets blessed. Oh no, I need a prayer request. God saying prayer request. What did the young man say when the Pharisees was like, oh, who did that? Who healed you? Or probably have demons. So what he said? I mean, I don't do too much temple, but I thought we already knew that God would be out here blessing, listening and blessing sinners. Remember, he told teachers that. Remember, he was like, I don't know who healed me, but I don't really fool with temple too much because I was out here. But somebody told me once or twice, God not really in that kind of line of work. Don't y'all know that? See? Why would God skip a saint's prayer request and be like, hold up, Ruby, I know you're praying for something. I got to go out here. I'm busy. I got to help somebody want a new car. Ruby would be like, who are they? What church they go to? Well, they don't go to no church. Ruby would be like, I'm good. So my prayer request didn't happen. When I get back to you, I need to go help people with, they out here. Well, how would Ruby feel if God said, no, that prayer request was cute, but I got you next September. Why? Because I got to go out here, somebody out here, they got one job, they want two jobs. Ruby say, oh, nice, where they worship? Oh, they don't worship. How would Ruby feel if God told her that? Oh, God, do your thing, man. I'm all set. I don't need much. Ruby feel just like Peter when Peter was like, what do we get? We out here slaving for you. We left everything. What did Jesus say? Oh, don't worry. Y'all straight. Y'all leave something for me? This life and the next, I got you. Because God worry about home base first. He's not going to be worrying about these people out here lost more than your saved soul. Isn't that a thing to be happy about? That God will never be more concerned with lost sinners more than you. You are already blessed. That was the lesson last week. One boy left, one boy stayed. What did the father say? You blessed already. You worried about this boy. This boy, the best he gonna be is a servant. Let him have his one party and be happy for him. Everything I have is already yours. And you got your mouth poked out. See, it's all about perspective. So try to digest some of these things for this week. Hopefully some of these things will be able to penetrate your mind or your heart. And let's just try to be better as a group, as a church body, and just be happier. This life got enough negativity. Turn that TV on and you see enough negativity, enough hate, enough everything. Let's try to put our mind's eye better. True. It gets to the point where I'd rather watch swearing, cussing, and killing than the news. True. Don't tell me none about no rated R when I see what the news got. I'd rather watch every rated R. I won't hear nobody tell me about, oh, Brother Ellis, you should stop watching movies like that. You need to stop watching the news. The news make me feel worse than any Terminator movie ever made me feel. Because afterwards, I still see Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's fine. But the news is real. I don't want to hear nothing about the news anymore. Truly, I don't want to argue nothing about any president candidate. Not with saying, please, let's do better. Let's live happier. We coming in here sad because, oh, somebody got a nuclear weapon and see it in, so they're going to drop it. Look, I don't have no time to worry about nuclear weapon because if the weapon don't drop, I still got to pay bills. I can't sell Verizon or rent or car note. I thought that Kim Jong-un was going to drop a nuclear weapon, so I spent that money. They'll be like, what? Let's put our priorities and minds somewhere else to be better. Okay, let's close here. We're over time. Let's end in a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful and blessed day. Thank you for the opportunity to study a portion of your word and be motivated by your truths. We ask that you bless us with our life to be able to put those things that we know to be true ahead of those things which we know to be fleeting. We thank you for your son. We know that the word in the beginning was with you and was you. We know that that word created all things that we see and cannot see. And we're thankful for this truth that we have of the Godhead. But we're thankful, dear God, that you have been preparing a place for us. We ask that we will live more with the knowledge of the truth of that preparation, to put our hearts and our minds on a path to be able to be accepting of those truths. Sometimes we don't accept the love that you have for us because we realize how much sin we have in our life. But we're thankful that you love us regardless of who we have been and who we are, but you see us for the potential of who we could be. We ask that we start seeing that of ourselves, that we have better self-esteem, better motivation in our life, knowing that the God who is within us is greater than he who is in this world. We're thankful for your truth that if you are for us, who truly can be against us? And we're thankful, dear God, for a study to remind us, worship service to remind us, Bible class to remind us of these things of which we forget get or in the world. Please help us to be in this world but not of it as we partake of living our physical life. We ask that as we transition to spiritual worship to you, that it will be presented to you a sweet smelling aroma to thy throne room in spirit and in truth. Be with those that are transitioning physically to get here now without the loss or harm of any. God, guard and keep us in all things. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, have a blessed worship.